All right, this is a great question. What happens if both you and your partner are disorganized, aka bouncing back and forth between anxious and avoidant? So, in those types of relationships, it can be very difficult to find the middle ground of stability because you are both swinging at different points in the pendulum. But the way that you can find middle ground is level setting together. So, a tool I really like to do in terms of disorganized attachment and learning how to become aware of it in order to heal from it is essentially writing out your self awareness. I personally feel that writing things down and seeing it on paper can be incredibly helpful in helping us make the connection between the actions that we are doing and how it is resonating on a subconscious level. So if you are disorganized, what I like to do is essentially write down your pattern. So write down your very typical triggers. You can do them in two batches. You can have your anxious list and your avoidant list. So when I am anxious, I notice I do XYZ. When I am avoidant, I notice I do XYZ. Take a look back at your previous interactions with romantic partners and see if you can find those patterns of behavior that kind of stand out. And then the second thing you're going to do with both of those lists is identify how you actually are feeling. Because yes, you're experiencing anxiety or avoidance, but there is a feeling underneath that. You can use something called a feelings wheel, which I absolutely love. It's just great. And you essentially can pull up all of the potential emotions that you have and then name the emotion. So I feel anxious when I don't hear from my partner for X amount of time. Then I feel blank. I feel worried. I feel upset. I feel mad. And then you have to figure out what your counteraction is. So if my partner doesn't text me back within 2 hours, I feel worried. As a result, I do XYZ. Now you might notice that as a result, you react in a very avoidant manner. When your partner does finally text you back, you don't respond. You just leave them on read. You might also notice that instead of the avoidant approach, you actually take the anxious side of the equation where you over-text multiple times until you feel secure again. And if you do this with your partner, if you are both disorganized and you sit down and you look at your actions as the result of your feelings, you might begin to see that these are very easily resolvable things. These are patterns of behavior, and you guys can create a new language based on the information that you both have. It can be really helpful too if you read each other's lists. If you sit down as a couple and you identify, hey, this is how I am impacted when you do this, and vice versa. And then what you want to do is take those things and see how you can create a new response together. It's going to be clunky and it's definitely going to take some work because you're technically unwinding years of habits that you might not have even known that you had. But when you create a new habit together, what you're essentially saying is we are forming intentional points of connection where neither of us are in a state of anxiety or avoidance. It's essentially just a small window of stability. And over time, each time that you step into that window of stability, it's going to grow. It's going to lengthen. You're going to have more times where you feel stable than when you feel triggered. And that is how you begin to form secure attachment with each other. It is all about the awareness and building in time for stability.